So, Bob Marley died at 36 years old, and the official story is that he died from cancer. Cancer that started under his toenail. But here's where it gets weird. 4 years before he died, someone gave him a pair of boots, and inside one of those boots was a piece of copper wire. And that wire stabbed him in the toe. Right in the toe. And 4 years later, guess where the cancer showed up? That exact same toe. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's just a coincidence. But then in 2016, a guy claiming to be a former CIA operative confesses on his deathbed that he killed Bob Marley, says he poisoned him, says it was a government operation. And here's the thing. There's no proof, no documents, nothing. But the more you look into what Bob Marley was actually doing in the 1970s, the more you realize this guy wasn't just making music. He was becoming a massive political threat to the United States government. So here's the question. Did Bob Marley die of cancer? Or did the CIA assassinate the king of reggae? Stick around because this story gets absolutely insane. All right, so Bob Marley, most people know him as the reggae guy, the One Love guy, the guy on college dorm posters. But that's not who Bob Marley actually was. Bob Marley was born in 1945 in Trenchtown, Kingston, Jamaica. Poverty everywhere. Violence everywhere. And Jamaica had just gotten independence from Britain in 1962, but the country was still being controlled by foreign interests and corrupt politicians. So Marley starts making music. Early on, it's just fun stuff. Dance music, love songs, normal pop music. But then in the early 1970s, something changes. He converts to Rastafari, grows his locks, starts reading about Marcus Garvey, Pan-Africanism, all this revolutionary stuff, and his music changes completely. Now he's writing songs like Get Up, Stand Up, and rebel music, and war. These aren't pop songs anymore. These are literally political manifestos set to music, and these songs are spreading everywhere. Jamaica, the Caribbean, Africa, Europe, America. Bob Marley is becoming the voice of anti-colonial resistance worldwide. By 1976, he's sold millions of records. He's touring globally. And when he speaks, millions of poor and oppressed people are listening to every word. And that's when he becomes dangerous. Because Jamaica in 1976 isn't just dealing with music, it's dealing with a full-blown civil war. So here's what's happening in Jamaica in 1976. The country is literally tearing itself apart. There are two political parties. The PNP, which is socialist-leaning, led by this guy Michael Manley, and then there's the JLP, which is capitalist-aligned and backed by the United States. Now, Michael Manley is doing things that are absolutely terrifying the US government. He's nationalizing industries. He's building ties with Cuba. He's talking about economic independence from the West. And he's literally hanging out with Fidel Castro. Remember, this is the Cold War. The US just lost Vietnam. They're paranoid about communism spreading anywhere near them. And Jamaica is 90 miles from Cuba. So what does the CIA do? What they always do, they destabilize the country. The JLP starts getting funding, weapons start flooding into the ghettos, political gangs form, shootings become a daily thing. Kingston turns into an actual war zone. By mid-1976, hundreds of people are dead. The country is on the edge of total collapse. And right in the middle of all this chaos, Bob Marley decides to do something that will change everything. He announces a free concert, December 5th, 1976, the Smile Jamaica concert. The whole idea is to ease tensions, bring people together, show that music can transcend politics. Beautiful idea, right? But here's the problem. The concert is seen as supporting Michael Manley and the socialist PNP. The opposition thinks Marley is picking sides. And 2 days before the concert, someone tries to kill him. December 3rd, 1976. 2 days before the Smile Jamaica concert. Bob Marley is at his home on Hope Road in Kingston. It's evening. He's rehearsing with his band, just a normal rehearsal. Around 8:30 p.m., a car pulls up outside the house. Men with guns get out, and they walk straight into the compound, and they just start shooting. Bullets everywhere. Marley's wife, Rita, gets shot in the head. Miraculously, she survives. Marley's manager, Don Taylor, gets shot 5 times. He survives. Marley himself gets hit in the chest and arm. The gunmen run away. And here's the crazy part. No one is ever arrested. No one is ever charged. The case just disappears. Now, officially, this was blamed on political gang violence. JLP guy's angry about the concert supporting the PNP, but here's where it gets suspicious. The attack was way too professional. These guys knew the exact layout of Marley's compound. They knew exactly who to target. They had escape routes planned out. This wasn't random gang violence. This was an organized hit. And Marley knows it. But instead of canceling the concert, he does something absolutely insane. He performs anyway. 2 days later, wounds still fresh, bandages still on, he walks on stage in front of 80,000 people and plays for 90 minutes. Why? Because he wants to send a message. You can't silence me. But that decision might have sealed his fate, because after the concert, Marley leaves Jamaica. He goes into exile. And that's when the Boots show up. So Marley goes into exile, first to the Bahamas, then to London. He stays in London for most of 1977, and this is when he records the album Exodus, the one that makes him a global superstar. Jamming, One Love, Three Little Birds, all those songs. He's bigger than ever, touring Europe, America, Africa, meeting presidents and freedom fighters. And somewhere during this time, someone gives him a pair of boots. Now, the story varies depending on who you ask. Some people say it was a gift from a journalist. Some say it was from a promoter. Some say it was just random. But everyone agrees on one thing. Inside one of those boots, there was something sharp, a piece of copper wire. Some versions say a nail. Some say a tack coated in something. Marley puts on the boots, and that sharp thing pierces his toe, cuts the skin, draws blood. Now, Marley doesn't think much of it at first. Just a scratch, right? He's busy touring. He's spreading his message. He ignores it. But over the next few months, the wound doesn't heal right. It gets infected. It starts looking wrong. By 1977, there's a dark spot under the nail of his big toe. Looks like a bruise that won't go away. Doctors tell him to get it checked. He keeps ignoring it. The spot is growing. Doctors tell him it might be cancer. They recommend a biopsy. The biopsy comes back, and it's bad. Acral lentiginous melanoma. A rare and super aggressive skin cancer that starts under the nail. Doctors immediately recommend amputation of the toe. Cut it off. Stop the cancer before it spreads to the rest of his body. And Marley says no. So why would Bob Marley refuse to cut off a toe to save his own life? That seems insane, right? 2 reasons. First, religion. Marley is Rastafari, and Rastafarian belief emphasizes the wholeness of the body. The body is a temple. Cutting off any part of your body is seen as messing with God's creation. Now, modern Rastafarians will tell you that saving your life comes first. But back in the 1970s, Marley's interpretation was stricter. He genuinely believed that amputating his toe would be against his faith. Second reason, he's a performer. His whole identity is built on his stage presence. The way he moves, the way he dances, the energy he brings. In his mind, losing a toe could mess with his balance, his performance, everything that makes him Bob Marley. So instead of amputation, he agrees to a compromise. The doctors remove the nail and scrape out the cancerous tissue. They tell him they got it all. He believes them, and he goes right back to touring. 1979, he's everywhere. Performs at festivals in Boston, goes to Zimbabwe for their independence celebration, plays for 40,000 people. He's at the peak of his career, but the cancer is still there, and it's quietly spreading through his body. 1980, Marley is touring America, the Uprising Tour, promoting his new album, September 1980. He collapses on stage in Pittsburgh. Can't finish the show, has to cancel the rest of the tour. He goes to a hospital, they do scans, and the news is devastating. The cancer has metastasized. It's in his brain, his lungs, his liver, his stomach, everywhere. He's dying, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it now. All right, so let's talk about the CIA conspiracy theory. Let's separate what's actually real from what's just speculation. First, fact. Bob Marley was definitely under surveillance. Jamaica in the 1970s was absolutely crawling with CIA agents. The US government was obsessed with keeping Jamaica out of Cuba's influence. Anyone with political power or influence was being watched, and Marley had massive political influence. He was being monitored. That's confirmed. Second, fact. The 1976 assassination attempt was never solved. The shooters who tried to kill Marley, never caught, never prosecuted, no arrests, no real investigation. In a country where political violence was everywhere, this particular attack was suspiciously professional and suspiciously forgotten by the authorities. Now, speculation. The boot story. Multiple people have told the story about someone giving Marley boots with a wire or nail inside that cut his toe. But there's no physical evidence, no photos of the boots, no medical records that specifically link that injury to the cancer. Here's the medical reality. Can a dirty nail cause melanoma? No, not directly. Melanoma is caused by genetics and UV exposure. A contaminated nail doesn't just give you skin cancer. But here's where it gets interesting. Could a nail coated with something else cause it? Theoretically, if that nail was coated with a carcinogen or some kind of radioactive material, maybe. But that's highly speculative. There's no evidence of that. And then there's the deathbed confession. So, in 2016, this story starts going viral online. A man named Bill Oxley, claiming to be a retired CIA operative, supposedly confesses on his deathbed to killing Bob Marley. According to the story, Oxley says he gave Marley a pair of boots with a cancerous nail in them. Says it was a CIA operation to eliminate a political threat. Sounds convincing, right? Here's the problem. There is zero evidence that Bill Oxley ever worked for the CIA. No employment records. No CIA confirmation. No verification whatsoever. The confession appeared on random conspiracy websites with absolutely no credible sourcing. No hospital records. No death certificate. Nothing. It's almost certainly completely made up. Fake news before fake news was even a thing. So where does that leave us? Here's what we know for certain. 1. Bob Marley had cancer. That's medical fact. Multiple doctors confirmed it. The autopsy confirmed it. 2. He refused treatment that probably would have saved his life. That's documented. His family has talked about it. 3. He was absolutely a political target. The 1976 shooting proves that. Someone tried to kill him and got away with it. 4. The CIA was extremely active in Jamaica. They had a documented history of targeting influential leftist figures all over the world. That's declassified history at this point. So could the CIA have killed Bob Marley? Technically, yes. They had the motive. He was influencing millions of people against Western imperialism. They had the opportunity. He was literally in their operational zone, and they absolutely had the methods. Covert assassination was literally part of their job description. But here's the thing. There's no actual proof. The cancer explanation makes complete medical sense. Acral lentiginous melanoma is rare, but it's real. It happens naturally, it's aggressive, and it kills. The boot story is compelling, but it's unverified. The deathbed confession is almost certainly fake. What we're left with is a pattern, and that pattern makes people really uncomfortable. Here's why people can't let this theory go. Influential black leader, check. Political threat to Western interests, check. Mysterious death, check. It's the same pattern as Fred Hampton. Shot by police during a raid after the FBI infiltrated his organization. Same pattern as Patrice Lumumba, Congolese independence leader, assassinated with CIA involvement. Same pattern as Thomas Sankara, African revolutionary, killed in a coup with French intelligence connections. Same pattern as Malcolm X, assassinated under suspicious circumstances with possible FBI involvement. The pattern repeats over and over. Influential black leader challenges Western power, dies mysteriously or violently, questions never fully answered. So when Bob Marley, a guy who was uniting millions against imperialism, dies of cancer at 36 after someone already tried to kill him once, people ask questions. Did the CIA kill Bob Marley? Probably not. The medical evidence suggests natural cancer. But could they have? Absolutely. They had every reason to want him gone. And that's exactly why this theory refuses to die, because even if it's not true, it's believable. And that says something really disturbing about what we know governments are capable of. Bob Marley has been dead for over 40 years now, but his music is still playing everywhere. His message is still spreading. His face is still on walls in Lagos, Rio, Johannesburg, Kingston, everywhere. He became exactly what he wanted to be, immortal. Whether the CIA killed him or cancer killed him, they failed to kill his influence. Get Up, Stand Up is still an anthem for resistance. Redemption Song is still a prayer for freedom. One Love is still a hope for unity. The Jamaican government gave him a state funeral. He's buried in a mausoleum in 9 Mile, his birthplace. People from all over the world visit to pay respects. His estate is worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. His children and grandchildren carry on his legacy. His music has been streamed billions of times, and every single year someone asks the same question. What if he had just amputated that toe? Would we have had another 40 years of Bob Marley? More music? More activism? More unity? We'll never know. What we do know is this: Bob Marley lived 36 years. In that short time, he changed music forever. He changed culture. He changed politics. He sang about freedom when singing about freedom could get you killed. And whether it was cancer or a conspiracy that took him, he died fighting for what he believed in. The CIA theory? Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. But the fact that it's believable should tell you everything you need to know about the world Bob Marley was fighting against. That's the real story. Rest in power, Bob Marley. What do you think? Cancer or conspiracy? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.